Um, the um, the tower change is huge though. Um, the tier 1 mid tower. Yeah, that's I didn't really pay attention to that either. I went into a lobby and here I'll share my screen and I can show you real quick. Um, I went into a lobby with it to like see what that actually meant because it says tier 1 mid lane towers are now a bit closer to the river, and that can mean fucking anything. But it's actually huge. No, it doesn't. It doesn't do the wards, but what it does do, I'll show you. It has it up all the way here. So these, you can still run through here, and you can still run through here, but it used to be like this line was like right here-ish. So it might not seem like a lot, but that's a fuck ton of space that, as a position 4, it just makes it so much harder to gank. And it also makes it so that blocking, I think, is a little bit less important because it's so hard to get it on your hill but not have it under your tower. Yeah, so it's like, it's only like, I think it's like this distance apart, but that's like, it cuts into half of the space that you had to have it on your high ground. And then it's probably like, let's say this is like 1,000 units. It probably was like 1,200 before, or 1,100. And that adds up a lot because that 1,000, like 500 or 600 of that is like where the creeps are gonna like meet here, and then the range creeps are gonna be like here, and that whole where the creeps are like attacking from one range creep to another is like 800. So it's cutting into, if it's actually 1,000 now and it was like 1,100 before, there was 300 range to play with before, and now there's only 200. Does that make sense? So we're like so this is like 600, I guess, 600 units. But the extra range, so let's say I'm on the, let's say I'm on the Radiant side. We block it a little bit. If you block it too much, it will be under your tower, which is bad. Yeah, and then it's kind of like the amount of space for you to... Yeah, also the strategy of, let's say the creep wave, the melee creeps are like here on the Radiant side. They're farther up a little bit, and then also the safety zone for the other mid laner is closer. So if I'm trying to sit right here as a spirit breaker and just body out the enemy mid laner, I don't have nearly as much room to do that. Does that make sense? Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like, it's super easy to do this because you have like 4,000 range to do it. But with this, it went from like 1,200 to 1,000, and 600 of that is taken up with these guys. And this guy has a 500 range, so his range aggroes to like back here. So it might be even if you have these creeps on your hill, you still can't, maybe you still can't body out the offlaner without drawing the ranged aggro. So I think this is actually a huge change for ganking mid. And then I don't know how the tangos are going to work out. I think the meta is going to shift where the position 5 might have to buy 2 sets of tangos. Because you still need 2 on your mid, and that'll only leave you with 1 tango as a support. But 4 tangos is kind of a lot, So you might like start pulling an extra one to the position 4 or the 3 or the 1. But also the starting gold, it makes the position 5 able to buy more sentries and shit, whereas before they like, I think they went to lane with like a clarity and like 2 or 3 tangos. They might now go with like 3 consistently and 2 clarities and a sentry because of the courier gold change. So I don't know how much that's going to matter. And then also you get 80 gold most games just from the bounty runes. So it's hard for me to predict how that's going to change things. And then for position 4s, you start with, like, boots and tangos is basically necessary on most supports, or position 4s, unless you're the one PogChamp I got under 300. Yeah. The highest I ever was like 120, I think. But I've been playing, I'm on a 10 win spree, but I've been hovering. This was unranked. But if you look at, this has been over the course of like 6 weeks, though. I haven't been playing much. So I'm just kind of... Nasty good or nasty bad? Yeah. I think he's again, he's my favorite right now. It's just kind of like, in the worst case scenario, for a lot of position 4s, you can't do anything, but this guy always can rely on his cogs to, at the very least, push back the lane or whatever. And even if you're like level 7 at 20 minutes, you can still hookshot cogs and run away, or hookshot and then knock him back with the cogs. So he's always gonna be able to do at least something, whereas like a Pudge that's in the same situation won't be able to do shit, like, at all. But yeah, so what do you main for your position? Okay. And did I show you the half pole thing? It's basically where, here, I can try and do it. It's where you try and, have you ever accidentally not pulled the entire wave? The range of these guys is 500, and in that range, the melee creeps, they look for either an enemy or somebody that's attacking an ally that they can attack. So, I don't know if I've... Yeah. It went from 800 to 600. So there's still 100 more, but it used to be you could very consistently get the range creep. Because his bubble will stick out to like here, whereas the melees will stick out to like here. But what the half pole is, I'm gonna have to wait for the 110. But what the half pole is when you intentionally only get 1 to 3 of these guys. And I haven't really heard much about it, and I might do a video on it in a bit. But it's really, I'll try and do it here, and then I'll talk about it a little bit. I don't want to fuck it up because I don't know the commands well enough to like redo it. But what it basically is so these guys have the 500 range, and they look for if one of these guys is in that range, or if I take damage within that range. So if this guy's winding up an attack, and I keep moving while he's winding it up, I can get about this far away from him while he's doing it, the melee one. Which gives me a little bit more wiggle room to pick up some creeps, but not all of them. But mostly it's the range creeps here, because this guy's going to send out a projectile, and when I see that he's starting the attack animation, I can move into a spot that I want. So if I do like this, I've messed it up, but what happened there was the ranged attack caught these 3, and then this guy got caught by this guy running into the range. But if you time it correctly, and it's not that hard, I just fucked it up because I'm kind of like out of it and I'm pausing and stuff. But if you do that, usually you get 2 of them. I don't know if it'll change with this guy's thing. It makes it a little bit harder. But what that does is it sends 2 creeps here and then 2 creeps here, which essentially pulls back this lane a little bit. But it's enough that if your carry knows what he's doing and the lane's not already like super pushing or something, it'll give him the control to do whatever he wants with the lane. Like if a lane's like 2% pushing into you, there's not really or if the lane's 2% pushing into the enemies, like I don't know how to quantify 2%, but if it's like slightly pushing into the enemies, there's not much you can do about it, because you can't just like kill off your own range creep. But if they're pushing into you, you can easily kill off the range creep, and that like equalizes it some. But what this does is it reduces the creep so that the enemy's slightly pushing into you in most cases. There's only 2 creeps here, so the offlaner's getting either the 2 creeps here or the 2 creeps here, but he's never getting 4 creeps, which makes him split up his attention. And if he goes to you, your carry's getting free farm, and he's still only getting 2 creeps. And then if he stays here, he's getting only 2 creeps, and the carry's getting it. He's getting control back over the lane, and you're denying these 2 creeps, and you're getting the farm from these creeps. So it's I would say it's actually probably one of the most helpful pulls if you compare it to single pulling, stacking and pulling, and then pulling through, which are the main ones right now. Because if you double pull, then he can just come over and contest it, and get access to two small stacks and 4 creeps. And then your carry's usually tanking creeps and kind of like messing with them over here. And if this guy messes with the pull and gets creeps on him and then pulls them over here, then the lane's going to keep pushing into him if he does it correctly. Plus, it's really hard to stack the small camp until like 3 minutes, because the first minute, of course, you can't stack it because it's spawning, and then the second minute you want to be at the bounty runes. So it's not until the 3rd minute that you really have the ability to like look at it and not have anything else to do except for stack it. But also by 3 minutes you might be like TPing to save somebody else. So it's really good because it splits up the farm, it pulls back the lane, it gives you farm, it at the very least denies the enemy offlaner 2 creeps, depending on if you do only get 2 creeps. It's different if you get 3 or 1, but it's still like the same theory. You get farm and it doesn't require any setup to do it. And then the other main pull, aside from the single pull usually just sucks. And then the double stack we just talked about that, but the pull through, it requires the same amount of setup, where it's like none, the camps just have to spawn. But yeah, and it means that like I had a student that I was explaining this with, I think yesterday, and a situation came up where he was going to do the pull and then the pull through. He was up here doing it, but when he came here, a fight broke out on his carry, and he had to run over and save his carry, and he didn't connect the pull because this pull it requires you to be there for like 20 seconds, because you have to be there to pull, which is like 5-10 seconds or whatever, and then you have to wait for these guys to die off and then pull this too, so you're stuck there for a long time. And then it's also putting creeps right here, where the offlaner can easily contest. So this is a really good tool to do that, but with this guy being 600 instead of 800, it's kind of harder to, like, you really want the range creep to be there because he dies easily and he does a good bit of damage, and he's more gold than experience, so if you can get him killed by the creeps, it's yeah, you kind of you have to balance it. Like if you only have 1 creep, you want to auto attack them down usually. If you have 2 creeps, you kind of play it based off of like how it's looking. Like different camps do different damage, and if you get a melee and a range creep as opposed to 2 melees, it's kind of like different. And then if you have 3, you kind of just want to get the last hits, and sometimes like auto attack deny your melee creeps when they get below 50%. But do you have any questions on that? So, yeah. Here, let me, I guess I don't have cheats on. I can try it with this one, but it's gonna, like, not really work, because it's not my creeps. But whatever. I can try it, because that one's already occupied. It's basically, you pull this, and then the best way to do it is, if you watch this creep, he's going to wind up for his attack. And that makes me know that in the next second, I want to be in a space that when his attack hits me, I'll be in range to, like, let's say a projectile was coming at me right here, for whatever reason. I would want to step to, like, right here, so that I'm in 500 range of these two, but not within the other ones. And then I run up. Go ahead. Yeah, it's not too difficult when you get into it. Like, that would have done it with my own creeps. I think these guys have a different algorithm because it's enemies, but I think you have the theory-ish. Did that help? Yeah. It's really not that hard when you've done it. It's probably going to be a lot harder now that the range creep isn't like a freebie. Because before, like, this one's super easy. You just have to be, because beforehand, this guy's basically free because he was 800 range, and if you're trying to get 500 in any of these units, you're going to get 800 of this guy. So what you would do with this pole is you would stand, like, right here when you get hit by the projectile, and then it would aggro these two, and then you run up. And then these guys just walk past. But that changes it a little bit. That's a really good tool though. I'm surprised I haven't seen that more, but I also don't watch pro games, so I don't know if that's a thing or not in pro games. And then what are the other changes? The stacks, I don't know if that's gonna matter at all, really. The thing that I'm worried most about is me playing position 4, and then I have like a carry AM. And, like, my support, like, triple stacks this, and my AM just can't farm it for, like, 15 minutes, because the fucking greedy support is stacking that. And then I think the initial bounty runes might be a pretty fucking big deal, because if you can get 3 of those starting bounty runes, that changes, like, everything. It's 200 gold per hero, and then that's 200 gold the enemy team isn't getting. So it's a 400 gold swing per bounty rune at the 0-minute mark. So if you can get 3 of those runes, you guys get 600 and they only get 200. And if you're playing like a position 5 and you get 3 bounty runes at the start with the reduced courier cost, you might be able to get your boots at like a minute, whereas before you'd get it at like 3 or 5 minutes. Yeah, that shit's, and it's like even just getting your you get 120 gold from that, which means in an average game you'll get your boots like 40 seconds to a minute sooner, and then by getting it that much sooner, you might be able to just completely zone out the offlaner, whereas in another game you would get it a minute later, but the enemy offlaner would have had his boots in that time, so you can push your power spike earlier, or you have the power spike earlier than the offlaner does, so you can push it harder. I think that's about it for the change, though. The only other thing is going back to the boots and the tangos. Now you have 110 gold, so yeah, you can basically buy a rapier at the start of the game. But yeah, so let's get into one of your games, unless you have any other questions about any of that. Okay. So I'm looking at these three. Which one do you want to go over? You have one loss on him. Okay. If you laned, I don't really care too much about it. Alright. Yeah. Yeah. The theory I have is, would insert professional player's name here win the game? And if the answer is yes, then you can kind of take from it. If the answer is no, it's just better to, like, move on. Because, like, some of the games that I play, like, if I'm like, oh, would Zai win this game or whatever, sometimes the answer is just like, no. Yeah. But if you have to change your position... Lol. Lol. I don't really like that you don't have a 4 staff. It's still really good as a position 4. Or a position 3. Gotcha. Right. I think it's like 8. It's between 7 and 9 days. Yeah. The Tusk or the Night Stalker would be... Okay. Well, this is a game where you'd have a lot of potential to do really well, or suck. Yeah, I think you might have wanted to get Tranquils instead of the Mana Boots. Yeah, because if you're playing with, especially with Clarities being so cheap and good now, you can just, like, not get Mana Boots and spend, like, 150 on Clarities and have more mana. And then with Tranquils, you don't have to earn yourself, so you can save it for enemies or your teammates, and you get your Blink Dagger sooner. And in this game, if you get your Blink Dagger, it changes the entire game. Because let's say they go in and they echo like these two, you can just blink in and snowball and stop his combo. Or if this guy shackles somebody, you can blink punch him. Or if they X somebody, you can blink save that. Like, you have a lot of things you can save with Blink Dagger. I do like that they're doing patches every 2 weeks, though. Surprised they didn't do any hero changes, though. They should have buffed Pudge. They're awful. Yep. Yep. I don't know what the build's gonna change to with Orb of Venom supports. It might be... How much gold? You need the... One sec. Let me pull up a calculator. So you need the 600 minus 275 for the Orb of Venom, minus 90 for... So you have 185 gold. After, what's it called? After your Clarity and your Tangos. So that could be like, that could be 2 branches and a smoke if you're trying to go for an early wand. I think the 2 branches would kind of suck though. I might just go... Fuck, that sucks. If it was 5 more gold, you could go for a smoke and a salve. You might just want to hold it, honestly. You could hold, you could go Orb of Venom, Tingo's, Clarity, and then with the 2 bounty runes, you get 80 gold. You'll be at 265, and you will get boots and Orb of Venom at like 1 minute in the game if you get two bounty runes. That might be the play, because I think Fairy Fire's meh. Like, it can be really good, but like, or you could just get boots quicker and take less damage, and then get a wand sooner that doesn't delete after you use it once. I don't like you starting with Ice Shards. This is a hero that does really well with either of them, so it's kind of like you want to hold it. Because your Snowball could save somebody, or your Ice Shards could get you a kill, or vice versa. Well, it's also a save if one of your teammates gets stunned. Like, if the Shadow Shaman came up, you have no way to stop his shackles. But if you have the Ice Shards, or the Snowball, you can stop it either with your Snowball or taking them in with you. And then if you're on top of a Shadow Shaman that used his shackles, with an Orb of Venom, you can easily kill him, because he's 285 anyways, and then you're slowing him 12%, so he's at like 250. And you're on top of him with another hero after he already used his spell. So if that happened like top lane, a Windrunner, and you can just run him down and kill him, especially with Drow Aura. What the fuck? That's only 3 now? What? I thought it was like 6 before. Whatever. I guess I suck. Like here, you could Snowball. I'm sick. Oh, what? I thought he was chasing someone. Oh, the Quap, okay. I thought he was chasing a support and then just stopped. The Razor. You definitely need to be using your quick buy. You know you can fill that out, right? With your control shift click, you can put up to 8 components in there. Yeah, I got you. I do that too sometimes. Especially because I haven't been playing ult too much. Ah, feels bad. Let's see if there's a small mechanical thing. I guess I don't really like that Snowball too much. It kind of dodged you from his stun, but that's about it. If you held it for a little bit, even if the stun got off, you could bring the Lion with you onto the Kunkka. And then if you did that and you threw out, like if right now both of you would be snowballing onto the Kunkka right here, you'd stun the Kunkka right here, and then you can Ice Shards like right here while he's stunned. And then he'll be at like 350 health. The Lion has 2 stuns. You guys are right on top of him. And like right here, you miss a lot of the depth of Ice Shards. If you can shards him like right while he's right here instead of right here, he has to come out more and then go around. So you're missing a lot of the pseudo disable of the wall being here, which again is a lot easier to land when you have the half-second stun from your snowball. Yeah, I think if you waited on the snowball and then got a better Ice Shards, he was for sure dead there. Even though he looked like he was for sure dead anyways. And then here, if you get these range creeps like this, you want to run it through the tower. Like, you want to run it this way so it falls off onto the creeps. Because if you do some shit like this, they'll either run out under the tower, like right here, when your carry's like over here, and they won't be able to prep the last hit or whatever, or you'll like aggro these, or some stupid shit like that. But it's like almost always bad. Yeah. You get the 2 last hits, but you're Tusk. And you would have your boots right now if you had your quick buy. Raffle. Feels bad. Yeah. I'd probably be clarying, whatever the fuck, use this right after that fight. Claritying up. Because you don't have enough for both of your spells. And like, right now if you're looking to go mid, you only have enough for Snowball, whereas if you use your Clarity, you might be a lot closer to being able to use both of your spells. Or if Ice Shards, if you can throw Ice Shards like right here and it'll save him more than Snowball will, you won't have that option. And it's kind of like, this guy used a stun, you're running into Fog, you're not really going to have another 50-second window where you're going to be able to use all of it. And if you get 150 mana out of Clarity, you're still happy with that. Yeah, I got you. But it's still like, yeah. But it's also your TP, and then like, you can start a fight sometimes. Feels bad, Shackle. You can start a fight a lot of times and fight for like 5 seconds before it even breaks. So, even if you are full mana, you can cast all your spells and still get another 15 mana. Or if you, if you're full mana and you don't want snowballs in, you can always throw out like an Ice Shard on like some creeps to block the lane if you have like an extra 20 seconds of your Clarity, and it'll fill you back full again. Yeah, and the stuns didn't line up well enough. Yeah. Yeah, it's all that. But yeah, this is one of those games where you're gonna have a hard time because you're Tusk and they have 2 mobile heroes. Like, you can't really gank the Quap or the AM. And that's why I really like Clockwork and Night Stalker, because both of them, go the fuck away. Both of them, this guy can easily kill either of those if he gets the silence on at night. And Clockwork can always just be really annoying by being a body in the way, or he can pull back with cogs. Whereas Tusk, it's kind of like you want to be running around and ganking because you're not as good at zoning out as a Clockwork is, because you don't have Battery Assault and you don't have cogs. So people aren't afraid of like fighting you. But if you're a Clockwork, they don't want to touch you at all. I do think a lot of this is you not being comfortable with your shards. Like, a lot of your shards aren't getting very much use. Like, that stopped his path, but it didn't make him backtrack at all. Yeah. And then here, if you were going for Earn first, the Raindrop will do a lot for you this game. And it's 50% more mana. Regen. Now you guys have 4 guys bottom, which is always fun. And there's no enemy heroes. Now you guys are gonna force something because you have 4 people down here. Get a kill, but is it really worth having 4 people down here, which is more of a Razor thing than you. And here, if you went for Tranquils instead, you would have had the gold for it. Ish, would you have? Yeah. But that's why I like Tranquils and Urn. It's kind of like, if you're doing really well, the Urn can be your health. I think well, because you're not getting a lot of kills. I guess there's a lot of different factors that go into it. Like the Urn helps a lot with your mana, and it tanks you up quicker. And it's made from smaller components, except for the recipe. And like the Raindrop is really good, because it makes you tankier, and it's block instances. But like right here, I'd be thinking Tranquils, because you're really low. And Tranquils, like, it might be better to get the Urn sooner on paper, but if you don't have any health, and the Tranquils allows you to stay, but the Urn won't, because you can't really kill anyone if you don't have any health, I'd be more incentivized to go for the Tranquils first there. It's kind of like, as getting the item as a whole first, Tranquils versus Urn, I think of it as, am I getting really good kills? Like, are we snowballing? And then if the answer is yes, then you want to get the Urn first, because that'll help you snowball harder. But if the game's kind of hard, Tranquils can allow you to stay on the map more, and it also depends on the hero that you're playing. Like, some heroes need mana more, which makes Urn more valuable. Some heroes need health more, which makes the Tranquils more valuable, unless you're getting the kills. So it's kind of a mix of a lot of things, and then the Raindrop also is a really good 200 gold item that makes you already committed to Urn-ish. So you got to balance a lot of things to figure out which one's the like perfect one to pick here. But like at this moment, I'd be like, all right, if I have the gold for Tranquils, I'm just gonna fly those out, because it means I stay on the map. And you're not really getting a lot of you're not snowballing really hard. I guess. Haha. And you have the Raindrop in your backpack instead of your inventory. Yeah. One thing that you can do is, you could have thrown ice shards right here. Or even when you're just running, you can like click it like right here, and it makes a barrier for them. And then you could have done that and snowballed over to these guys, or got in range to go on these guys and then see what they do, and then throw ice shards reacting to that. Like if they think that you're snowballing on one of their guys and they like stay over here, then you just fucking snowball. Like, it shows you, it doesn't show them. It shows you and your teammates. It doesn't show up for the enemies. Yeah, everyone was like, oh, Tusk got nerfed so hard, but it doesn't show up for the enemies. But like if you get in range for yeah, it's very hard to see though. Like they have to be watching it carefully to figure out. So like if you snowballed these guys and they ran to the wolves, then you could like ice shards like here or like there or there to just get in the way of them, and this is faster than your movement speed. It's about twice your movement speed right there, or right now, so it'd get you there quicker. And you can use this to, again, or you could have ran here and ice shards here. Or at the very least, you should have held your snowball so that you'd be occupying these guys for 3 more seconds times 4. So it's kind of like when you know you're fucked no matter what, just hold your snowball. So that, like, that would have been 12 seconds on their entire, over the spread of their team, yeah. And again, you have your ward in your inventory instead of the things that'll actually help you. Well, Tusk is really hard to do it right. The only reason I'm pointing out all of these things is because these things will... It looks like they're specific, but if I talk about it, it helps you get more of a general sense, and if you get... so it's not like just this exact one specific situation, the things that I'm talking about are relevant. It's like every situation because of how complex these spells can quickly get. But with this, I would have tried to ice shards in, like, right here. So if they do go for the kill, like right now, if you ice shards this guy, he's pretty much fucked. If he tries to run out, then you can just snowball him. And you can use your ice shards while you're snowballing. So if you threw it, like, right here, this guy's pretty much dead. Yeah, especially right now. If you threw an ice shards here, he'd be stuck. Your lion might die, but for the cause, yeah. Some next level shit. So you first picked it. Yeah, it's just kind of like, I don't like him too much as a first pick. The only 2 heroes that I would first pick are Clockwork and Night Stalker as position 4. And this is like, you feel like you can't do a lot, right? You can't gank mid, you can't gank top, and that's because you picked Tusk, and then they picked heroes that, like, if you picked a Night Stalker or Clockwork, and then they picked these heroes, you wouldn't care nearly as much as you would if you're a Tusk. And again, your ice shards are not, like, if you throw it right here, it makes him run back a lot more. Because here he just runs sidewards, kind of. Like, the amount of distance that he has to travel extra is just from here to there, whereas if you threw it there, he'd have to run all the way back. Or if you threw it right in front of him, this would have been right here, which, like, doubles the distance that he has to walk back is also more distance that he has to run forward to get to the tower. So you kind of would have essentially knocked him back like 200, or it would have been a 100 unit knockback, but he'd have to run 100 units to get back to the same spot. So it's like a 200 unit pull back if you threw it closer to him. And that's like, it's hard to do if he's not stunned, but you have 2 stuns to set that up. So you can always just like punch to set it up or snowball to set it up and then get it perfect. And here, if you maybe had your or your circlet instead of your, like, you could have had both of these items in, and that might have saved you. You would have had 40 extra health from this, you would have had a third of an armor, and then you would have had 2 armor from this. So maybe right now you're at like 400 health, which means that you're at like 200 health here, which means you still die, but she would probably go for another attack, or the Drow Ranger could have denied you. She probably wouldn't have, but And you had the gold for the tranquils there, so if we look at the game as if you had tranquils here. Here, you can ice shard yourself out of this. If you just cast it on yourself. Yeah. I think you can click it on your portrait, but it's not very consistent. But there, you can like click it on your own hero. If you get, it takes some practice. But if you don't have practice on it, you kind of just want to click it on your portrait, and sometimes it'll do good, sometimes it won't. But yeah, your options are limited to bottom here, which makes the game really hard as a roamer. So with this here, if you ice shards, I would be trying to ice shards right here, right now, and then it, like he's trapped, and you snowball on him and then he's just dead. Or you could be ice shards right like here, and then he's not able to run directly under his tower. Like you guys get the Shadow Shaman, but you might have been able to get both of them. And then that urn just kind of is worthless because you guys aren't going back on the Shadow Shaman or the the Earth Shaker. Now you're out of urns, but your Razor really would have liked one. If you had Tranquils, you could have not earned yourself, and you could have earned the Razor. If you didn't do the Earth Spirit thing, or the Earth Shaker thing, you'd still have an urn charge to help you get the next kill. You'd be full health right now. At this point, I'd be looking to go for a Blink Dagger. If you... Yeah, in this exact situation where you didn't go the Mana Boots or the Tranquils, like if I hopped into the game right now, I'd be looking to go Blink Dagger. Why the fuck does it... Oh wait, is that? Okay, that's cool. I was pressing, I have minus and plus as my hotkeys for speeding up the, and I was accidentally pressing 0 and that was going to the other person. But if I press 2 it goes to you. See, we're both learning from this. Yep. Send you like 50 cents. See, that was a good ice shards ish, I think. Yeah, but it was about perfect for what you want to use ice shards for the utility. I think the punch was overkill because she blinked in. Well, I don't think either of you had to use any of your spells. Now I would be looking to go Mana Boots just because everyone's low, and if you get Mana Boots you can push it. It's because you didn't use your quick buy. And you're also sitting on the tome. Are you sitting on it so you get the extra 40? The math behind that is it's just as good to use it before. Because like this gets a better burst of the 40%, but if you use it sooner, you get the 40% on the experience. Well, let's say it takes 10,000 experience to get to level 10, and the tome's 500 experience. Let's say, like, we make a mini game where there's enough creeps that you get exactly 10,000 experience, just to make it simple. If you use the tome to get your level 10, then you get the 40% experience for 500 more experience worth of the creeps in the mini game. Does that make sense? The only time that it's bad to use the tome is if the tome will overshoot you past level 10. So if you're like 100 experience away from it, you're missing out on 400 of the 500 experience getting a bonus. And here, if you had Tranquils, your whole team, you could have earned your team. Lol. Attaboy. I throw out a space created usually. Especially when I fuck up. I don't like this board that you placed. The reason being, if you throw one like here, you'll catch people that are running in this area, and if they're running like this way or that way, it's pretty obvious if the bounty rune's gone anyways. But it'll also catch like a lot more important stuff too. Like this might have been fine if they still had this tower up, but I don't like it with this one down, because when that one's down, it opens up the deeper parts of their jungle to be warded. I'd put it like either there, or like here or something. Yeah. This one's pretty good. Well, these two are so this one compares with this one and this one. Does that make sense? Like, you want to think about this one, and then think about if this one or this one would be better. So it's not that this one's bad, it's just kind of like, if you have this one, you can see if this camp is taken, or if somebody's directly in it, or not. This one also covers this path, and then more over here, and then more over here. This one kind of loses vision from these trees, so you lose like, if the circle's something like this, the radius of the ward, you're losing all of this area for that ward. And who on their team is going to take Ancients right now? AM doesn't really want to take it until... I guess he could, but he doesn't really want to so much. And this would catch him taking this one, and possibly seeing him run this way. Whereas this one only catches him at that one. I think it goes to like here. It's not bad. It's really good for taking Roche if you think that they're gonna TP to the shrine. I just kind of like this one better because it catches more of these rotations, and then like entering the jungle from the top side a lot more. Whereas this one only catches like if they enter this way or run through this way. And then this one, compared to that one, this one doesn't catch the shrine so much, but it catches this pathway a lot sooner, a little bit over here. So This one? This one doesn't catch this as much, and it doesn't catch this as much. And this, well, the low ground here doesn't matter as much. For Roche, this one's really good too. Like for Roche, I think my favorite would be, if the Roche is really important, getting one here, and then getting one like here-ish, because this will catch the rotations. Like if they're running this way, it'll catch them. And nobody really wants to blink from here to here if they're the first one showing up to Roche, because your whole team could be right there and they could just die. But this one will catch all of the rotations this way, and this one will catch all of the rotations this way, so it's like a catch-all. I would say this one, if you only have one ward, this one's the best. Especially if like this tower's down, because their only options, it kind of depends on their towers. It's hard to say, really. There's a lot of factors, like, do they have this tower or not? Do they have this tower or not? Do they have this tower? Do they have this tower? What heroes do they have? Do they have blink heroes, etc.? So it's kind of a lot of small factors play into which ward you want to go for, but I think this one's really safe for taking Roche, because this gives you this angle right here and over here, which, like, this ward is better if you're not taking Roche, but this one's better because this vision doesn't matter, like, right here, unless you're taking a Roche fight, right? So this one would just provide you with deeper information and catch more people, and then it also catches this better, because this is blocked some by these trees, and it doesn't go as deep. So it's kind of, none of them are really bad, it's just kind of like getting a little bit more out of them. And then this one, if you compare this one to like this, or even that, it's like, I think these two will catch the rotations that this one will catch, but sooner, and catch other things too. Does that make sense? Especially with the AM in the jungle. So you just wasted all of your disables. This guy was hexed for the whole 1¼ second stun of this, and the 1 second stun of this. So you wasted 2¼ seconds of stun that, like, you could be using on, like, the Earth Spirit here. Like, if you had your, or the Earth Shaker, if you had your snowball and your punch, this guy would die. Well, the snowball was fine. Yeah, the snowball was fine, because it's like around the same time that the lions. But I'd be like, the lion blinked in. He's probably gonna get his hex, his instant hex off before AM's like 0.3 of a second blink, and AM has to react, whereas the lion doesn't as much because the lion's making the action. So he will react sooner and his spells quicker. And then with this guy hexed, I'd rather use this to secure another second and do the damage if we need it. The snowball I might have thrown out too, but I definitely hold the punch, because the lions, when a hero like a lion or a shadow shaman goes on somebody, they usually hex first and then they follow up with their second disable, and that's just kind of like, you let them do that because that's just like, I guess it's a lot more complicated if you're going to be like, alright, lion, you use your hex, and then I'll punch, and then you follow up my punch with an earth spike. Does that... Because, so you usually want to... Yeah, exactly. And it's not like, okay, you do yours, and then I'll follow up your spell, and then you follow up my spell. So it's kind of like he just does his own thing, and then you follow it up, instead of you following him, following you, or whatever. So it makes it simpler. So unless the lion gets stunned, then I would let him do his whole thing, and then I would follow it up. Because, like, right now, you would be stunning him again, which would mean that the Windrunner might not have to shackle there, or the lion might not have to finger. Like, they might have used the finger and the shackle because they saw you punch. But if you had your punch still, they would have known there's still a second of disables left. At least in, like, maybe higher games. I don't know if that's something that would happen in your games. But it's like, it's never bad to be doing the right things, regardless of if your team follows it up right or not. And now, after that fight, I would have been trying to get a ward on their hill. Right here. How the fuck do you guys lose this game? You guys should take Roche and end it. It's probably because you didn't use your quick buy. Oh, or because the Windrunner threw out that shackles on the Quab. One of those two. With this, when I see him lift his hand here, I would be trying to snowball. Like, you running away doesn't do anything because you're locked here, right? Is it? Oh, never mind. I think there were a few, like, tenths of a second that you could have. And then if you did that, you could have ice charged the Quap and got the kill. Because you can throw ice shards in your snowball. Also, I think you need to work on your inventory. Because a lot of times you've had the wrong things in your inventory, or like you had your Orb of Venom in your backpack when you had you had one open slot. And that, it's kind of like, he doesn't know you're coming, or at least, like, not for sure, so you kind of give it away and put your spell on cooldown. And then again, you're following up. If you are doing your combo, you want to wait a little bit, because you can add an extra, like, half second if you snowball and get the 1.25 seconds stun, and then, like, run around for half a second and then punch him. You get an extra half second of disable. So if we watch here, he's stunned by this, and then there was about 1/3 of the snowball stun left that you just didn't use, so that's like 0.4 of a second of, yeah, you got silenced right after, so right there it would have been, what you did was right on accident, kind of. Yeah, so you're the fucking pro here. What's your invoice again? Yeah. Your Dro has a Deso, lol. Um, well, the reason you guys lost the game is you didn't take Roche at like 22 minutes and then push high ground. And now he's online, so he's just gonna push everything down. And you're not buying your items soon enough. Like, you're like 300-400 gold over your items when you buy them. Well, there's no reason you should be up here. And there's no reason you shouldn't have your Blink Dagger right now. Because if you have your Blink Dagger, you can sit back here, wait for them to initiate, and then blink in, snowball, and save somebody from being chain stunned. Instead, you walk up and then walk back and just kind of like get stunned and stuck, so now you're kind of useless. It's okay, he bought back, so he got reduced gold. It's calculated. Please buy your fucking Blink Dagger. Blink Dagger's core on Tusk. There you go. Wouldn't you have much rather been like a Clockwork or a Night Stalker this game? And then here you should be putting your Orb of Venom in your inventory instead of your smoke. This is just a bad snowball. Like, what you want your team to be doing right now is killing these off. But by going in here, you force your team to run through the wards and like run past it, and it's either gonna attack them or they attack your racks. So it's kind of like you're splitting the interest of your team. And right now, if you guys just kill these wards, they can't really push, right? Like, what are they do? AM can't just blink in, and Quap's not gonna blink in either because she's just gonna die. So if you deal with the wards, there's no way they damage your racks anymore. So, and the only reason you'd want to kill these guys is to stop them from pushing, but you already do that by just killing off the wards. Well, what do I fucking know, bull? Nice. I like that. You blunked onto the cliff, so you had to run farther. Where is it? Yeah. Very nice. Wouldn't have mattered anyways, though. Yeah. Something like that. But yeah, the game's pretty much over now. Unless they fuck up heavily. So do you have any final questions or anything? One of mine? Okay, yeah. I can... We're like 10 minutes over. Here, let me...